All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest for you. All the way from Detroit, Michigan. Please put your hands together for Miss Natasha.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. You are welcome. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm good. Okay. Hey, look here, making it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to, highlight, people doing good in the hood. All right. So, look here. Now, if you're on this platform, you're doing good in the hood, and we're going to give you these roses. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. I appreciate that.
Flowers, So, one of our main topics today is going to be business and how to grow business and how to, supply business to, areas that may not have any business, especially in a lot of like inner city urban areas, all across the country, not just Detroit, not just Chicago, but all around the country as well. So before we get into some of the things that you do, can you tell us a little bit about your business background?
Sure, I can. That is a very extensive resume. Well, first of all, I just would like to say that honestly, my business background stems from like just having an imagination as a kid, right? That really pushed me forward to creating this business. I actually pay homage to my mother greatly for having early on conversations with me about entrepreneurship. And my first conversation with her about entrepreneurship was walking to school at the age of 8. And that's when I actually determined that I would be my own boss. And I didn't know at that time how I would be or, what would be happening. But when she gave me the options for my career, I thought the boss was definitely the best role. And in that she said, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, or you could be your own boss, and they get to do whatever they want. And I'm thinking like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to make the rules. But little did I know, making the rules come with a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, right.
Which led me to honestly starting my company at 23. I became entrepreneur fully after discovering that I made my last employer $1 million over a period of 6 months on the phone from a system that I created. And just from like I said, a year, just I've been feel like an adult my whole life, honestly. And I just was able to, because of me being diligent with schoolwork, I was able to start a secular career very early. And between the ages of 15 and 22, I worked for so many corporations and companies and all different backgrounds, just very, very privileged to be the only Black girl, the youngest one, pretty much always in the room. And it wasn't until the moment where my supervisor told me that I made him $1 million in 6 months that I decided that I was able to do that myself. But it at the time I was working for a call center and I was earning about $6,000 to $8,000 a month, like processing inbound calls for extended service plans for Ford and Chrysler. And it's pretty cool, but it took away all of my time and a time for my family. And I remember all of my peers and my mother and everyone, when I wanted to tell them that I was quitting to start my own company, they were like, girl, you crazy. You make this amount of money, you tripping. Right, I'm like, wait, Ma, listen, let me tell you something. The manager sat me down after working with Harley Davidson company to close an account for them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, the supervisor was so excited about what I had done with them that they told me how much money I make them. And I'm like, they only giving me $6,000 to $8,000 a month, but I made them $1 million over a period of 6 months. I'm like, the math just not right. And I said, Mom, what you don't understand is that I created this system. If I can create them a system, I can create me one. And she was like, F it, quit. Just like that. Just like quit. And when she said that to me, it was her again who gave me the courage to be like, shoot, if anything happened, my mama just said that I could quit. That means that I always got some place to go to.
Right.
I'm like, my bills get behind.
Right. You know what? I got a place to go. Thanks, Mom. Thanks.
Exactly. So she gave me the go-ahead. And when she gave me the go-ahead, I didn't quit right away. I took the salary that I was making for my job and began to pay staff with it. And the first person that I hired was my sister-in-law. I got her to quit her job. And I was, at the time, I was making more than her. Mm-hmm. And I could pay her out of my salary, but I had to get the clearance from my brother first because he real cheap, and I want to call him and tell his wife to quit her job. He like, girl, is you crazy?
Right.
I'm like, Dave, I promise you, I could pay her salary out of my money. I could do this. I'm like, you gotta let her do it. And so over time, he did. He let her quit, and she was my supervisor. And then I turned his basement into a call center. And began to have like rotating shifts, like 3 rotating shifts. So he like, girl, listen, you got to get out of my house now. You did have my wife quit the job. Now you turn my house into a sweatshop. You got to go. Which was all really great moments. Yes, I always look at that entrepreneur video where they say it started in the garage, it started here. Mine started in my brother's basement. Okay.
Yeah.
And so he one day just was the last shift, he got tired of so many people coming in and out of his house all times of night. So he said, Tasha, you got to go get a building. Like, you cannot keep operating like this. And that's exactly what I did. And from that, I think that at that moment, it was no longer a hobby to me. It was no longer, oh, this is cool, because sometimes the stuff is just turned out to be cool, when you're, testing different entrepreneur goals. But it was real life. And I then began to dive completely into entrepreneurship and really expand that, the call center, in which I did to 700 seats. And then after that, I taught thousands around the world, locally, virtually, for the last 15 years on how to use technology to build a work from home business or to process inbound calls from home. So that started out, and people started coming to hear me speak in news stations and things like that. And people were flying in to meet me. Then I started getting calls from all sorts of people asking me, could I do this? And could I do that? And could I do this? And so it gave me the opportunity to use all of the skills that I learned in secular work in corporate America to build my business myself and to put those skills to use for my own. And that's what I did. Then I went on to service an unlimited, I don't even know how many businesses I've serviced at this point. Like, I have no idea. But it's overwhelming, it's an overwhelming joy that I get to do every single day. I never get bored. I was a serial job quitter in the beginning. And it was so funny. But I used to work with all of the corporate jobs. All of the jobs were good that I would get. So I didn't care, from jumping from one to the next, because it was a learning experience for me. Right. And I would learn really, really fast. And I remember my cousin and my mom, and just everybody would be like, girl, you better stop. One day you ain't going to be able to get a good job. One day you ain't going to be able to get a good job. That's what they would be telling me. And to date, I have paid myself more than any job could ever pay me. And I've also not quit anything because I'm like so diverse or whatever. So I don't have that problem anymore. Whereas before, when I was working my 9 to 5, I just would get bored really quick, sick of driving the same place, sick of doing the same thing every day. And I would become to the point where I would step outside of my paid position and, create things to make their companies better. And that created value.
So tell us about the Make Your Dreams Come True Corporation and its beginnings.
So as I just mentioned, those were the beginnings. That was the beginnings of Make Your Dreams Come True. And then it evolved from just call center services, from us being a, let's say, third party able to process inbound calls for some of the biggest corporations that you guys have ever seen. We process the inbound calls for those, as well as all of the infomercials that you see, some of the television shows that you see, the casting calls. We've done pretty much a lot of things in the call center industry, but then it emerged to website design, logo design, business consultations, development, PR and media, just anything that you need to make your idea come to life, we do it. And that's, we're the missing piece to your business dream. And if we can't do it, we literally have partners who we work with who's able to do it. So it's been a lot of relationship building over the last 15 years, from mom and pop shops all the way to some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies that you've imagined, that I've partnered with, that I continue to partner with, to not only for the betterment of my growth, but also to help the community grow. Those inner city community businesses, I use the tools that I discover with them to help their businesses be better.
Well, I mean, as far as businesses, I can just say, just reading over like your bio and some of the stuff that you've done for the community, PPE work, especially like obituary services. I think there was something like that as well, for those who were struggling during those early times of COVID. Just all kinds of like check-ins with the community, like any and everything for the community. She ain't lying, y'all. Like anything you can think about for the community, man. Natasha then did. Look.
And you know what though? And what's so beautiful about that is there's nobody telling me to do these things. Like like I'm literally just create these initiatives based off of what I see the need to be. And I've lost a lot of people through death, so I know how excruciating the hurt is, especially abruptly. An abrupt death is just very hurtful.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, I just saw a lot of people who never experienced it in the light that I have, definitely grieving to an extent that was very painful to watch. So I know the obituary process of it is very difficult for a lot of people to handle. And even though I was losing a lot of people then too, I just had a great skill and a great team that was able to put these obituaries together. And then also later I discovered how to make those digital, so that in case you didn't want to come into contact or you didn't have enough to afford it, then you could have a digital copy and circulate it that way. And that's been proven to be very useful to the community.
Well, I mean, as you said, like no one's telling you to do these things. And I was going to ask this in another question about character, but you pretty much, have like talked about it all through like the interview, but it's pretty much what's in you, at the core of yourself. Even as a child, even though you were like, look, yeah, the boss, yeah, and they can do whatever they want to do, right? And I don't have to do anything that these other people say I have to do. I can do whatever I want to do. Oh, okay, yeah, you know what? I think I want to be that,
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, I gotta say, just having that mindset at an early age, sticking to it, not only sticking to it, but providing, the fruits of the labor of all that you have like thought about and manifested and like brought forth, not only for yourself, but for the community as well, like that says something about a person, at the end of the day, that's integrity, of course, but you know, there are other positive attributes about your character that speaks to, you know. And
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Well, look, don't just take my word for it, y'all. Look here, man. She done won like the honor roll award, and I know that's big in Detroit for like community service. I know you sit as a board member of the NAACP Women for Color
Entrepreneur. Yeah, I used to get a seat there. Man, I can't tell you honestly, the obituary, you know, the bio, they make you shorten it so much, but so many great things, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It would be a book, but I say this, like when it came to business, I knew that community also had to be a part of it, just based off of how corporate America, you know, operates their business, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of things that I recognized early on is that a business cannot run by just providing services. We have to create more value than just taking money, you know, in order to be sustainable for a very long time. And so this is Make Your Dreams Come True is officially over 15 years old. And we haven't, I'll just say this, my business have taken care of me, and it's taken care of so many people that it is relentlessly just a joy to be able to recap.
Look, so now let me ask this question, because you know that's very, look, hats off to you, okay? And you know, B, like I think sometimes when we think about like going into business for ourselves, like we have, you know, the idea of it being, you know, oh man, you know, it's going to be the best business ever. I'm going to make all this money, you know, I'm going to be able to provide this, that, or what have you. And sometimes in the first 3 to 5 years, and that's being light, you know, man, I'm being real light when I say that. But sometimes, you know, in the first 3 to 5 years, they fold. What, like, in your opinion, real quick, you know, what do you think, you know, people make the most common mistake at when they start to open up a business?
Oh, wow. That's, it's a few things that I feel like is common. Number one is not treating your business like a business, but treating it like a hustle. A lot of times we turn into hustle man from the fifth floor. That is not the standard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just lacking proper business infrastructure, not setting your business up in the right way. And I ain't saying nothing wrong with the hustle man from the fifth floor. You feel me? Because it is what it is. But that's not a business. And we have to, you know, really recognize that, you know, that a hobby is a hobby, a hustle is a hustle, but business is business. And so when we talk about business, the reason why we can't in any inner city communities, when I have those clients, it is because we are just simply following the next person sitting next to us instead of following a blueprint. That's another thing that I see common. Oh, well, so-and-so did it that way, so I'm gonna follow behind them and do it. And it's enough to get them just off the ground, but it'll keep you just off the ground.
Right.
And so that's very important to note. Another thing is that we don't follow any systems. I noticed that when your businesses fall between 3 to 5 years, it's because the system has not been implemented and it's not being followed. And that, you know, literally means the onboarding process is solid. The sales process is solid. The softwares that you use to automate some of your processes is solid, and the ability to outsource to the proper people. There's an idea in many people's minds that you have to learn everything in your business. That's such a cliche. It's totally not true, or any of that. You have to just know what the tool or what the person is doing, or what the software is supposed to do. You just have to know how they're supposed to operate. But you are not responsible for learning every single thing in business. Now, if that's your part of your job, then sure. But if you're a painter, for example, you have a construction company and your job is to paint. We don't expect for you to build your website. We don't expect for you to know how to do your marketing. We expect for you to do the job that you know how to do.
Right.
And so then it's okay if you outsource the things that you don't. It's something that I read about a fish being a fish. They took a fish out the bowl and it didn't know how to do anything. It died. Well, it only knows what it knows how to do. You know what I'm saying? So we cannot live off the expectation that the fish was supposed to get up and walk on land. Now, can we? So that's the same thing that we have to keep in mind, is that we are only able to do what we know how to do. That doesn't mean we're stupid. That doesn't mean that you're less of a business owner. It doesn't mean any of those things. This is how corporations operate. So the advantage that small businesses and aspiring entrepreneurs need to get into their mind is to follow the blueprint of the bigger companies and condense it down to what yours is in that stage. So if you see Walmart is a successful company, or Amazon right now is blowing everybody out of the park, right?
Right.
Look at Amazon's business model, not the person that's sitting right next to you who is doing the exact same thing you are. They might be doing it prettier and they might have made $200 more than you, but what's that? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't give you a example for you to follow long term. It only gives you a model for you to follow in that moment. So I think a lot of times it's because we do not build our models out completely and we don't execute the things that we say we're going to execute. We can beat around and say that idea 50 million times and don't execute it. Or we execute it and we only do it halfway. So these are just some of the things that I see happens at the early stages of building companies. I see this all the time. And fear is one of the biggest reasons, and confidence actually is what stop people from evolving, believe it or not. I meet a lot of talented people with the money to build their businesses, people with the talent too, but they've been told no so much their whole lives. They've been humiliated. They've been felt, they just feel like they don't have any self-worth or self-confidence.
Right.
And so that fear of what happened to them when they were a kid, or what they're currently going to, and I say fear, yeah, they don't want that to happen, but they also have the stigma, some sort of stigma that's following them around that doesn't allow them to evolve from that idea, or for them to advance their business further than their mind allows them to go. So if I tell them, hey, you're here, you're over that, you did that, you beat that to the rug, it is time to jump, and that is scary. And it pushes them outside of the comfort zone.
Hey, comfort is a cage. I've been saying it the last couple of weeks. Comfort is a cage, and sometimes, it's easy to be in your comfort zone because it's easy to sit and blame, things or certain factors that you can't control once you decide that you are going to get outside of the comfort cage. And, as you said, like that last part, just taking a jump alone, and it's just not with businesses. That's just with a lot of things in life, really taking a chance on yourself, but also before you take that chance now, don't be trying to take the chance because you've seen another person doing it and think, oh, I can do that too. Mm-hmm. But no, if it's something that you really have at the core, at the center of yourself, look, I know I can do this. I know I can be a value of this, that, what have you. Yeah. Like, go solid business plan first. Okay.
And you know what? And for me, I don't think that the business plan doesn't come first for me. Like, that's the very last thing that I consider. I consider a marketing plan before anything. That's what we. Oh God. Yeah. So forget the business plan, everybody. If you're listening to us right now, I am telling you, that the key is not the business plan. That's only if you need, if somebody is willing to invest in you. So if you're a person who don't have credit, who just got the idea, who got your own money, and who's funding you yourself, because that's typically what's happening in communities. They're funding their businesses and their nonprofits themselves. If you're that person, you need a marketing strategy. You need a marketing plan. Forget the business plan, because it's not serving you any purpose. A marketing strategy and a marketing plan is what creates money. And that's what we are in business for. And because we have those big, beautiful hearts when you're building businesses and you're from the inner community, you could get lost on just giving. And that's why you see so many businesses fail, because their heart takes over and there's no money being brought in. They're now working to pay for their business to be open, instead of for their business to be making funds for them to not work anymore. So they find themselves in situations where they're literally just working to pay the bills and never see a return on profit. And that is, a return on their investment.
Right.
And generate that profit. And that's the most scariest part about business, is that you don't have a marketing strategy. We put so much money into product, photo shoots, going to different events, networking, vending tables, and all of that, but ain't no ads running nowhere. No commercials are running anywhere. No anything. We are only dependent on our community to buy from us. But when you think about corporate America, it's everywhere. Billboards, commercials. You turn on your phone, there are pop-up ads. There are ads everywhere.
Yeah.
On YouTube, it's just ads going on everywhere. Nobody is thinking about if they're only touching their community. That's only us. We're the only ones think like that.
You have to think beyond the box.
Yes, we have to think outside of the box. And when I say we, I'm literally talking about those who are from the hood, like you said in the beginning, who are from the inner city community, where you are building those mom and pop shops. And mom and pop shops doesn't have a color. It is literally all sorts of people who build mom and pop shops. But the reason why they say mom and pop shops is because they don't scale through marketing.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Look here. Look. Professional, okay? Like, take it from a person who's been building businesses, in the hood, and creating opportunities and services for those, in the hood, outside the hood, man, big Fortune 500, companies as well, like, it's all about getting outside that box, ladies and gentlemen. Step outside, take a chance on yourself. You just really never know, like, the opportunities you can be providing, not only for yourself, but for your community as well, So there it is. Real quick, I want to talk about this Being That Girl clothing line. Let's talk about it for a few minutes before we get to our last question. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Oh my gosh, this is my baby. In fact, Being That Girl launched 6 years ago, well, maybe 5 years ago, after my mother passed away. She passed away September 11, 2016. And very difficult time in my life. And she was affectionately known as that girl. And she had a whole matter of fact about herself. And she would announce herself. And when she came into a room, I'm that girl. I'm that girl. Like, so you knew what time it was when she got there or whatever, right? And she always wore red lips. And so that's kind of like behind the story, behind the logo of Being That Girl. And she in fact was, because she raised some really amazing kids to stand on their own without her or my father, and some grandkids to be able to do the same thing. And so I'm very grateful for the things she's taught me. So that hurt and pain and grief kind of drove me to trying to create a brand that would allow me to think of her in a positive light for the rest of my life, and give her grandkids and other children something to see and kind of remind them of, as our time, goes on without her. And it started out just from t-shirts to t-shirt affirmations in terms of empowerment, then obviously just the fashion sense and adding other items to the line that I've designed alongside our seamstress and mastermind and Foster. We create a lot of different pieces together and remix a lot of different things, and it's been a joy. And it's taken great strides. After just a short period of time, 2 years, I launched it in Macy's at the end of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool.
Okay. Okay.
Experience for Michigan and PA at the time.
Okay.
And but COVID came through and knocked that little dream out the box.
Oh, okay, but still, you know, you got it off the ground and you had a scene in. Look, first and foremost, Macy's is a big chain. You got a scene in, you know, Michigan and in Pittsburgh, you know, PA as well. So, I mean, you know, that's getting your stuff off into a market, as you just was talking about.
Yes, and so now they're in just boutiques all around throughout the city in different states. We're from here through the UK. So evolved to just like a women's empowerment agency where we just don't do fashion. We're all about sisterhood too. I'm real strong on genuine sisterhood. Also just helping women build businesses and their dreams. I do that all day long or whatever, and helping others. Like, I know what it's like to launch. I know what it's like to be celebrated. I've lived my life literally on the stage since I've been a very little girl. And so I know what that recognition means for people who, you know, may have never received it. And so for me to be able to help these, I be having women literally crying in my office like, man, I thought I'd never find anybody like you. And I'm like, really? Like, what? Those moments are really surreal for me when I hear the gratitude of women, both close and far away, express how I've changed their life, or how I've inspired them to do something, or how I connected them with somebody and it happened, their dream happened. I get women who write about me in their books and magazines and all sorts of amazing things from just the work of that girl. And in fact, this Friday, October 22nd, I am doing a That Girl brand story and celebration. And what that is just me pretty much telling how, but with a lot of fun. At the top of the event, it is for the community and business. You know, I can't celebrate without the community and the businesses.
Okay.
So I got a lot of resources coming in to help individual star businesses, real transparent, down to the grit, jump in, this is how you do it, no fluff, no anything. You know, I'm bringing out a lot of organizations to be able to pull that off, as well as I'm launching about 8 businesses of women who I've helped just in a short period of time, from nurse concierge services down to boutiques and all sorts of things. It's crazy. So we have that going on. And we are even going to have, one of the things that I do in the community is teach people how to build t-shirt brands.
Right.
And my mind behind that is because we got a lot of youth selling drugs and things like that or whatever. So if you could sell some drugs, you could sell a t-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or just, that's also a t-shirt business is for single moms and men, anybody who's trying to start a business quick. Everybody loves t-shirts, and it's enough for you to buy forever. Okay. So that's been like a workshop that I've been running over the last 3 years and teaching a lot of people how to start t-shirt companies. Well, at the event, I literally brought a t-shirt company on site so we can not only build their business online, where we incorporate their business, but they walk away with inventory. Like, they can literally get their stuff printed right then and there and walk away with it.
Right. Well, I think that's genius. Like, look, first I'm gonna tell you how to start one, and then you can walk right over here and support mine and get yourself made. So that way you can go out here and you have an idea of how things get done. Hey, I got you. Look here. Before we get out of here, I gotta ask you this question. This is the question that my show is known for, so I have to present it. All right.
Okay.
So, Ms. Natasha Lee, what is the one word that best describes you and why?
Loyal. it was a million words that came to my head. But when I think about me, I'm always told I'm loyal to a fault. So I'm definitely going to go with loyal, but I've since then learned how to manage being loyal to a fault and just be loyal, you know, where it's not damaging me to be that way. I think that is one of the greatest attributes of my Father, Jehovah in heavens, where he's a very loyal God. He show up every day for me, every single day, every night, whether it's raining, whether it's sunshine. You know, I know that he's a loyal God. He's going to pull through. And that is literally one of the attributes that I got from him. So if I'm going to go with a word, I'm going to go with loyal.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I ain't say it. Y'all just heard Natasha Lee. She just told y'all what it is, okay? I was doing good in the hood. Before we get out of here, drop those social media handles and those emails so people can get in contact with you.
Sure. So guys, follow me on Instagram at I'm That Girl Natasha or That Girl IG page. So that's again, I'm That Girl Natasha or That Girl IG page. You can find me on Instagram. On Facebook, I am Natasha Lee. That's where I talk the most, y'all. And if you guys want to find me on TikTok, it's That Girl TikTok page and That Girl Facebook page, FB page on Facebook. So that's how you can find me. If you want to email us, you can email me actually directly at nlee@mydct.net. Again, that's nlee@mydct.net. Now, I'm really busy, y'all. Now, y'all might not get me to respond back immediately, okay? But I promise you, either myself or my team will respond. We always respond. And we can't wait to help you make your business dreams a reality.
There it is. Come on now. Look, I said you was going to get these flowers. You're going to get these flowers because you're doing good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. Follow me, all social media platforms at Word with Ty Brownlow, or you can just go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Definitely get this wonderful interview, plus other great interviews. Natasha Lee, we out.
We out. Peace.